Hello everyone, welcome back to another showcase on Dark Souls 3. So, we need about another weapon to review, and I thought, okay, let's go with something a little weird. Something that looks really uncommon. Now, there's a couple weapons of that category, but I figured, okay, let's take a weapon that is not used historically, but actually exists historically. Now we're getting to a bit of a weird territory. But despite all that, it doesn't look that weird. For today's item is the Crescent Axe. Now, it may look like a big weapon, but it's actually a halberd. So only the head of it does make it appear look like it is a heavy axe, but it's not. This axe is a long shaft that combines both a halberd and an axe. Alright. The description reads, and the description's very, very lore heavy, I might add. A crescent-shaped halberd resembling a long-handled battle axe. Which is kind of what it is. Traditionally wielded by the Way of White clerics. The skill is the war cry. Let a spirited war cry to temporarily boost attack. The war cry is there is no other halberd that has that, it's only this weapon, in terms of halberds. The skill war cry is shared across many of the other axe weapons out there. But yes, such a heavy description, you could tell his weapon's self-confidence is through the roof. But there's not a whole lot there. But oh well. So visually, the weapon, as I mentioned earlier, does actually exist in real life. Now I'm going to probably butcher this name, but it's the Loschenberg, I believe, Loschenberg Axe, which is a type of halberd used almost exclusively in Scotland. So yes, the Scotties, I'm going to take flack for that perhaps, but the individuals in that region, it was in the 1500s, combined this with the halberd with the axe. So the spike on the end was designed to thrust in close quarters, and the axe was meant to take down individuals from their horses in cavalry charges. So it's used alongside other polearm halberd-like types. But yeah, so Loschenberg had many different shapes. As you see the image here, there's 3 different kinds, and the one on the left is the one we're kind of looking at. But all in all, it's a pretty exclusive weapon, not really widely used in Europe at all. Like I said, almost exclusively in Scotland and almost never anywhere else. That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat they chose a weapon that's almost, like, not well known at all. Because I didn't know about it until I searched for this. Neat. Looking at the stats of the weapon, we can see the physical is above average, which is nice. About 19 points above average. And the bonus damage is generous as well, at 61. Moving on from that, we got the attribute bonus, which is 2Ds. One for strength and one for dexterity. This is also reflected in the attribute requirements, with 14 strength and 12 dexterity. I love when I have my flashcards wrong with stuff on screen. Anyway, the war cry is 20 FP, which is modest. It's across most other axes, and the weight is also low, 6.0. So an all-around, pretty well-rounded weapon. Pretty average. Well, above average, slightly. But slightly. The animations. This weapon borrows most of its moveset from the halberd's family. So, you got the basic halberd's plain strike. You got the heavy horizontal swing with the single hand. But no one uses halberds single-handedly. You mainly use them double-handed. Double-handed, you got the overhead slam and the horizontal swing. Two-handed basic. Two-handed power. You got these one single spin. I don't particularly like this move very much, but it does there. Now for the special, you got the war cry. No other halberd has this. It's mainly shared across the axes, and it's active for roughly 10 seconds, increasing your damage by 25%, roughly. Now when you use war cry, your power attack changes. So the basic attack, you can see, it goes to overhead swing, and then if you hold it, it'll drag the weapon along the ground. Interesting. The spring and attack like any other halberds overhead. Okay, for upgrading this weapon, we can see it takes plain old Titanite shards. You get a modest upgrade, 11 for the basic physical, and around 10 to 11 for the bonus. So going through, we can see there's just average upgrades. Nothing nothing big and wow, but we can see the final upgrade took the weapon for dexterity bonus, went from D to C. That's nice. It's pretty good. It's okay. So how well does a weapon perform in the field? Well, you gotta treat it like any other halberd. So using your range to your advantage and the decent DPS, but you got the extra Warcry. So we had a backstab with the Warcry on, it's 460. That's okay. It's not wow, it's not really that great. So this weapon might be impacted by armor. A basic attack there with a power attack, or a basic attack with the Warcry on. Killed that opponent, but we can see here without the Warcry it does not kill him. Let's try a power attack. Yep, it does kill him one hit with a power attack for non-armored foes of that caliber. But can I get through his shield? Let's test it. It doesn't bounce around the shield, and 2 hits and it's through. Very nice. The critical hit without the shield is 530 damage. Excellent. Going against the Gorgile, I don't really expect to get through his shield, so I'm only focused on dealing damage to him. So the Warcry on, we can do roughly a little bit, almost 250, which is pretty good. And I'll try and get through the shield, just at least make one attempt. Use a power attack, and there we are. Nothing. Not getting to that shield. But still modest damage. Now against the Black Knights, they'll be the more difficult foes, because they have the same reach as I do. And they're just as fast. So I'll have to use my various power attacks and backstabs. So with the Warcry on, does plenty of damage. Plenty indeed. And use a power attack. Well, it didn't quite finish him off as I hoped, but it did do plenty of damage. So with a bit of effort, he goes down pretty easily. But anyway, moving on to the pros and cons of the Crescent Axe. Okay, on the pro side, we've got decent damage and range. The special is pretty handy. And you also can get through small shields. Well, medium to small shields, I should say. The cons of this weapon, there really doesn't have any strong shortcomings, but I guess the majority of the animations are boring. And to be honest, that's kind of it. There's no real shortcomings with this weapon. Going into the score for the Crescent Axe, damage gets 6 out of 10, and that's with the Warcry on. Without the Warcry, it'll be a bit lower. Reach gets 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. Animation gets 4 to 10. The animation wasn't... The majority of the animations are borrowed from the Halberd, but when you get Warcry on there, it does change the power moves. Bonus gets 6 out of 10. It was slightly above average. It was okay. Miss gets 6 out of 10. Because it doesn't really have any wow factors, but doesn't have any shortcomings, and it is historically accurate. So he gets those points. That was pretty neat. So in total, the Crescent Axe gets 29 out of 50, which is good. This weapon doesn't really aim to wow you, but it doesn't disappoint you either. It's a fairly decent blade, or blade, axe, halberd thing. It's a hybrid. But yeah, it's pretty average, pretty decent. So it's not the best weapon in the game, but it's far from the worst. We've seen some pretty bad weapons in this game. Luckily, this weapon is not one of them. Could you take it at the end of the game? I'm not too sure, to be honest. This weapon doesn't really aim to try to surpass any other bigger weapons out there. But it's fairly easy to use. And relatively quick. So in all, it's still a pretty good weapon, but I'm not sure if anyone's really going to dedicate themselves to use this. Not really enough wow factor there. But that's my opinion. That's been Showcase for today. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care out there.